Come on, BTC.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is another Monday morning. It is the 14th of October, 2024, and I'm a little bit under the weather today. I have the dreaded C word. That is right. I have COVID. I didn't think it still existed, but I do. So anyway, I'm not feeling too bad. A little bit of a night sweat, but I am still here. As long as my voice holds up, I think we are all good. And we have a busy Monday. Normally Mondays are a little bit slow. There's not a lot to talk about, but today we have a wealth of information. Bitcoin to 80,000. We're going to talk about ADA. We're going to talk about Base. We're going to talk about XRP. We're going to talk about year-to-date gainers, what you need to be keeping an eye on. We're going to look at a game called Off the Grid, which I know nothing about. I've left that to one side so we can look at it together. And we're going to try and do all of this in 1 hour. I see that our resident Aussie is in chat. Peter has come in to gloat about how well Liverpool have done over the international break. But before we get on to talk about what Peter had to say in a more sensible manner, don't forget to smash the like button and don't forget to give us a follow. 177,000. We're getting towards the middle of October, 2.5 months to go until the end of the year, and hopefully you get all the presents, apart from Peter because he's been a bad boy, you get all the presents you want at the end of the year. Also, the subject of the show today is Mi Casa, Su Casa, which, if Mags was in chat, he's from Portugal, he'd have some idea what I was talking about. And what I'm basically saying is that we are all in the same house. We're all in the same boat. We are all together on this. And it's an easy way for me to sit here and just tell you a load of rubbish based on absolutely baseless information, just to pump my videos, pump my streams and stuff like that. But we don't do that on this channel. So if you're new here and you don't know what we do, we try and look at it in a sensible, orderly fashion. I'm probably never going to say something is in a 200 or 300x on this channel. The likelihood is the most I'll ever say is a 30, 40, 50x, and that is in exceptional circumstances. Most coins between now and the end of next year will likely do somewhere between a 5 and a 15x, depending on the coin. Bitcoin is obviously going to do less, Ethereum will do less, but some of the coins in the top 30, top 40, they have a good chance of doing a 10x, depending on how well we have the bull run and the stars are aligning. I had this conversation with you last year. I told you what we needed last year to get through to have a good 2024. We talked about inflation coming down. We talked about the Bitcoin ETF. We talked about the potential for an Ethereum ETF. We talked about the halving. We talked about minor capitulation. Every one of those things that we talked about this time last year has come true. Okay? The only thing that we didn't see coming, of course, was Grayscale dumping itself all over the market and suppressing Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, you can only get rid of coins for so long before you run out of them. And I think next year Grayscale will finally have capitulated and stopped selling. So what comes up between now and the end of next year? We of course have the presidential campaign. We have Trump It is significant to the price of Bitcoin. It is significant to the fact that he wants to create a Bitcoin reserve for America. That will be 1 million Bitcoin bought over the course of 4 years, not a small amount. That could lead to contagion, other nation states starting to buy Bitcoin, the ETFs starting to move into other ETFs, other funds, other pension funds. It's a slow process, but it's an important process. So next year, equally as bullish as I have been on this year. And I think, on the whole, I think we've had a good 2024 so far. So, Mikasa, Sukasa, we're all in the same house. Now then, we're going to go and have a look about some of the coins. Peter is gloating about Mantra. I am going to show you, I have got a year-to-date section on here called YTD Gainers. I'm going to show you the top gainers of 2024, and you'll notice that Peter's Mantra is in there. And of course, we reviewed the coin. It's a very bullish coin for us. We do have a couple of coins that we really like and that we added to our portfolios with this year. We've looked at, I added NEAR this year. I have added Ondo. Now, the tokenomics for Ondo are not perfect, but I don't care. I'm going to be selling Ondo in 12 months' time. Mantra, I haven't been buying any Mantra, but I have been buying some other coins on the side as well. A little bit of Maker as well. But anyway, let's get into the charts because also into the markets, because there's been a little bit of a pump. 2.2% up in the last 24 hours across the market. 2.24 trillion for the total market volume. 65 billion. It's low, but don't forget that's 65 billion on a Sunday. Everything else is closed. I think we're going to start to see a few 100 billion plus days in the next few weeks. Remember, it's October, and we are going to go and have a look at that because there is an interesting thing that you need to understand. Not every coin goes up in October. Some coins don't go up until January through to the end of June, but we're going to show you that in a second. Bitcoin dominance and ETH dominance, they did come down to 70%. They're now back up at 70.5%, I think. So that has seen a little bit of a bounce. In total, though, Bitcoin is up 2.6, ETH is up 2.4. Not bad over the last 24 hours, especially on a Sunday. BNB coming in still under $600. Solana back over 150. XRP still at 53 cents. Not going to happen, is it? Right then. 24 hours, what have we got? Brett, remember what I said about Brett? Been saying it for months. Anything under 11 cents for Brett is a bargain. Now it was at 6 cents and 7 cents and 8 cents. It's going to have a run. It's 11.4 cents. It's not too late. It does have a $1.1 billion market cap. So if it's going to have a crack at a $10 billion market cap, you're only going to get a 9x. Had you bought it at 6 and 7 cents, you'd be looking at a 15x. That's what the price difference can do to a coin. Ethena is up. WorldCoin Mog is another one of my picks. I've got my 3 picks for my meme coins for the bull run. I made the video yesterday. I have gone with Mog. I've gone with Popcat. I've gone with Mog, and I've gone with Mew. Mew, of course, sponsored the stream, but that's irrelevant. I'd still pick it because I think it's going to be a cat-based meme pump season. However, the one outsider that I've got that I did include in the video yesterday is Brett. They're my 4 coins that I've picked. All reasonable market caps, although Popcat and Brett are starting to get a little bit on the heavy side. So if you could get it on a retracement, that would be perfect. Other gainers then, Arve is up. Mantra is there. Look at the year-to-date gain on Mantra. It has gained more in 2024 than all of the Liverpool supporters combined. 2,500%, 2,500% return in 2024. Pendle is up. Floki is up. Ondo is up. Ondo is up 357% for the year. That's coming in at 74 cents. ASI, even though it's had a terrible dump, and I think it should be somewhere in the region of $4 or $5, it's still up 122% this year. Not the best. Pi is primed for a run, only up 3.6% over the year. We're going to look at year-to-date gainers anyway later on. But on the whole, very decent. Actually, we're going to look at the losers, aren't we, before we move on. And I am going to try and keep an eye on chat and see who is in here. If anybody is in here, remember to smash the like button and say hello. If you don't say hello, I don't know you're here. Chris, good morning to you. Chris, I hope you are well. PopCat. Now, even though PopCat is down, look at the year-to-date growth in PopCat. It's up 16,900%. The question you've got to ask yourself is, how high is it going to go now? How high is it going to go before the end of the year? It's already at a $1.4 billion market cap. Could it see 4 billion, 5 billion? Yes, that's where we've seen previous coins go to this year. Dog with Hat went up to, I think, 5 or 6 billion. So it's still got room to run, but it's also got room to retrace. I was advising, non-financially of course, to get PopCat at 60 or 70 cents. Had you done that, you'd be up 100%, and I only made that video 6 weeks ago. 138 is still a bit heavy for me. Dog with Hat is down a touch. Tron, Uniswap, Nero, Axie, not many losers today, to be fair. Not many losers. Let's get on with some X-Files, see where we are. Oh, I've not said hello to KB. Good morning, KB. And Chris and everybody else. Just making sure everybody is here. Trump looks like he will beat Kamala. Yeah, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win. Now then, this is important if you hold dupe and you've staked your dupe. The ASR rewards are going to come out this week, and you're going to get roughly 20% of your dupe, plus you're going to get, I believe it is Cloud. Okay, so some point this week I'm going to announce it. Might make a video. Don't know whether I'll do that. Might announce it in Telegram. But if you've staked your dupe, you'll be able to get roughly 20%. So if you've staked 400 dupe, you're going to get 80 dupe back. That at this current price is about $65, $70. Not bad for free. So that's going to happen this week. And I am going to make sure that I show you how you can go and claim that later on. My chat isn't working, and also the stream doesn't seem to be working. I used to hate meme coins, but I've learned to be unbiased. Look at the data. Most of the trading value is in meme coins. Don't fight the data. Don't fight the market. Adapt. Again, Kaduna, don't know who he is. Don't follow him, but it was a very nice comment. And it's something that I've had to learn. At the beginning of last year, nearly 2 years ago, I was hell-bent against meme coins. They have no inherent value. They have no purpose. They don't solve a problem. They are literally gambling. And they're gambling in the most volatile market in the world, which is crypto. So you're going after the most volatile asset in the most volatile market. And that's why I'm not a fan of it. However, you have to go with the flow. We are going to include meme coins. We do include meme coins on the stream. It's just one of the things that we have to do because people want to see meme coins. So we include them. Now then, this is why. Solana meme coins. The total market cap has gone over 10 billion, with 2.3 billion in trading volume recorded in the last 24 hours. So there is $10.2 billion of value in meme coins. And some of my favorites are in here, obviously Bonk and PopCat. Bonk, I am a very big fan of Bonk. I think it's progressed from a meme coin. I don't want to call it a utility coin. I don't want to call it a community coin. It's progressed massively. Now, because of that, I don't think it's going to have a faster run as the likes of Brett, PopCat, Mog, and New. I think they're going to run faster because they're newer. I think Bonk will still do well, maybe 5 to 6 to 7x, but I just think the newer coins are going to get the narrative and they're going to run. Unless Bonk starts to come out with lots of information about how well it's doing, then I think that's where we're up to. Now then, this is not a dig at Gnarly Quinn whatsoever. This is a look at where he predicts some of the prices to go in the bull run. And the reason I've picked this out is because you're going to see a lot of people do this. Now, I put a tweet up yesterday with some similar price targets for some similar coins to buy. So buy prices, not end of market prices. And the reason I have an issue with problems like this is that Dupe may very well go and do $10. Pyth may very well go and do $3. Sol certainly has $480 on the target as a target. But the issue is that these targets are so high that when you see them, you hold on too long. So if we are in October next year and Solana is at $450, I'd be looking to sell out of Solana, dollar cost average out. If Dupe is anywhere near $10, $11, I'm getting out. If Pyth, which I bought at 31 cents, I think I got it at, if Pyth goes to, let's say, $2 or $3, I'm going to get out of Pyth. These targets, more than probably justified in Gnarly Quinn's head. And again, as I said, I'm not having a go at Gnarly Quinn. I'm just using it as an example to show you. You're going to see people give you $1,000 targets for Solana. You're going to see people give you $100 targets for Dupe. Those targets are wholly unrealistic in this cycle. You've got 10, maybe 12 months left. That's it. To take all of these coins, or even half of these coins, to the prices that people are telling you they're going to go to, is going to be extremely difficult unless we have one almighty blow off top. Then it's possible, but still, I think they're unrealistic. And I think you should have a spreadsheet, said this before, a spreadsheet with a list of coins on your left, a list of the coins you hold, the number of coins you hold, the price you bought them at, and then finally a target price for you to sell. And using that, you can times the price you want to sell at by the number of coins, sum it up, and you can see what you might have if you sold at those prices. So if you put $1,000 into crypto and you work out that you're going to get $10,000 out of crypto, and we're in October next year and you're at $11,000, why haven't you sold everything? Your target was $10,000. You're at $11,000. Why haven't you sold by now? You're never going to catch the top. You are never going to exactly time the top of the bull run. And I think you've got about 4 weeks to sell-ish. So set yourself a plan to get out. And we are going to make a video about this. We are going to do a live stream about this. We are going to talk this through. We've got plenty of time to do it. I've said we'll do it beginning of next year. But be careful you don't use these price targets, because I think some of them are excessively high. And I think that's going to catch you in the end. Right then, we're going to move on. My voice is holding up. Although, as I've said to you, I do have, and I tested myself this morning because I woke up in a cold sweat. So I thought I'd test myself, and I do have the dreaded COVID. Now then, moving on to the market cap Bitcoin dominance. Again, every time we do this down here, we are told that Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. And what happens every time these experts tell us we're breaking down? We go straight back up again. And there we go. And we are, by the way, we are back at a very key level. If you look there, we've been there back at the beginning of October. We've wicked above it for 5 or 6 days. We've fallen down. We're now back at this level. This is the 58% level. Let's bring up the price. 58% level. Now, I've said that 58% is where I think we're going to go. Ben Cowan, who is the expert, not me, Ben Cowan says 60%, which is up here. And if you want to go and find a kind of in-between, let's just look at what would happen if we stayed on this course between now and the end of the year. So we could start to break up, keep bouncing off here, and we could break into next year at 59.5, 59.8, 60.1%, but it's going that way. Bitcoin is going to outpace the market, probably into the election, which is in 3 weeks' time, probably into December, which is only 6 weeks away, potentially into January, which is 11 weeks away. This is just a milestone, this 31st of December. It's not set in stone. It could, quite rightly, continue up and do this and top out at the middle of January. Remember, we said that October was going to be a good month for Bitcoin, but we didn't say it was going to start on the 1st. We said it was going to be a good month for October. Maybe the first week, maybe the second week, maybe the 11th of October. Lots of people were talking about that. Bitcoin dominance hitting 60% is pretty much on the cards. It's been on the cards for months and months and months, but it doesn't mean it's going to get to New Year's Eve or January the 1st, New Year's Day, and then suddenly start to break down. It's just a rough guide. And when we break down, remember, it's going to do this. We can go all the way back. I've shown you this 1,000 times before. That was the breakdown of Bitcoin. It is that rapid, okay? Now, when this breaks down, the alts absolutely rip to the upside, okay? So, all this nice, calm Bitcoin action here is all great, but when it comes down, it falls off a cliff, okay? And when it falls off a cliff, it's gone. And then you're going to have to wait a considerable amount of time for it to come back. Oof. 65 to 70% dominance before we break down. KB, that would either involve a very, very, very high Bitcoin price. If we're at 2.1 trillion and we went to 3 trillion and all of that money went into Bitcoin, that would put Bitcoin at let's say $110,000 with nothing moving. Again, it's possible, but I think some of the alts will follow it. You could be right. You could be right. We could see 65%. Bitcoin doesn't show any signs of stopping because it's had such a healthy break. But, you know, I said on Thursday or Friday last week, all that bullish narrative that we had in March, it's all gone. Everybody's gone. Nobody's watching videos. Nobody's watching live streams. They've all gone. They were all here in March. We were doing, what were we doing? 20, no, even more. We were doing 30 to 50 times the amount of viewers on videos back in March than we are today. We've lost 95% of our viewership on a bad day, 75% on a good day. Now, that's not us changing. We've actually grown in that time. But it's retail. Retail are not here. They're not looking up crypto. So if Bitcoin can sneak towards $100,000 without retail coming back, then yes, maybe we get that high. But I think if we can get to 60, I think that will be a turning point in the market. Now, we've highlighted this. It's a Monday, so we look at the DXY. The DXY, over the period of time that Bitcoin started to come down, it started to go up. Now, I did draw this beautiful graph showing you what was happening. And again, my artistic skills, they know no bounds, okay? Tony Hart, Bob Ross took all of their inspiration from me. And as you can see, I have circled perfectly what we want to see. And that is that the DXY, the strength of the dollar, gets rejected at the bull market support band and comes down. It happened back in August. We want it to happen again, and we want it to come down somewhere around 100.5, 99.6, something like that. That's where we want it to head to, because that will help Bitcoin. And we like to help Bitcoin. You know, we are not anti-Bitcoin. We are a fully inclusive and diversified channel. We have young and old on here. Right then, moving on to this. This was very quiet last night, by the way, when I was setting this up. We only had about $80 million worth of liquidations. As you can see, we're up to $182 million worth of liquidations. Everybody who shorted has been wrecked. There's a few notable exceptions, but on the whole, Bitcoin, ETH, Sui, Sol, Bohm even. I mean, Bohm's had a big rip. Pepe, they've all been absolutely smashed to pieces. So the shorts have been liquidated. There's been a bit of a short squeeze to pump us to the upside. Is it finished? We'll have a look at the Bitcoin chart in a minute. Now, what I wanted to show you was this, because I brought it up before, but I haven't been through one other thing that I think you might want to be interested in. And that is, good morning, Tariq. From March till now, most got wrecked. March 24 to October 24, mini bear market. I think it's been pretty much consolidation. Right then. So we know about the Bitcoin and Ethereum quarterly returns, but what I'm going to show you in a second is this in a minute. Right, as you can see, we are now in a green October. 18% more to go. And we are in Pumptober. Okay? So I think 70,000, 72,000, I think that's on the cards for October if we go off what's happened in previous months. But what I wanted to show you was we've got fairly bullish. If you try and look at this, the Bitcoin is on the left, Ethereum is on the right. Bitcoin tends to have better quarter fours, but look at Ethereum's quarter four. Okay, it's had 5 red, including this one, and 4 green. So it's only got a 50-50. Bitcoin has had 8 good quarters, including this one, versus 4 bad quarters. But then look at Q1. Look at Ethereum's Q1. We've had 6 green quarters and 2 red quarters. But look at Bitcoin's. Bitcoin is more 50-50. So what I'm trying to say is, when Bitcoin has a really good Q4, Ethereum doesn't, because Bitcoin runs away. It's the silverback. But look at Q1. Ethereum catches up in Q1. If you look at what happened this year, Ethereum was going great guns in Q1. It was up 60% in Q1 this year. And now look at us. We've had nothing but bleeding for, what now, 6 months? So what I'm saying is, if you are an Ethereum holder and you're in a bit of a panic, you're worried you're going to miss the boat, look at the Q1 returns for Ethereum. 52%, 59%. Yes, it lost 10% in 2022, but look at 2021, 160%. Bitcoin has had a good Q1 this year, a good Q1 last year, but then it lost, it gained, it lost, and it's just taking it in turns. So for me, I think if you're waiting for your Ethereum pump, which will hopefully get us back above the likes of $4,000, I think that's going to come in Q1. I'm not saying we're going to have a bad Q4 this year for Ethereum. I do think Ethereum will move up. Hopefully it will get back towards $2,900. But I think January, February and March next year is when Ethereum is going to really pull away. Now then, let's have a look at some actual news, because we are where? We're nearly halfway through the stream and I am still procrastinating over markets and X-Files. So another analyst has predicted $75,000 to $80,000 for Bitcoin. Here's why. Who is this analyst? Stock Money Lizards. Never heard of them. I'm sure they're absolutely massive, but I've never heard of them. They think the range breakout could happen in 2 weeks. If so, the analyst predicted Bitcoin could hit 75 to 80 if the recent drop below 60 is defended at a higher low. If this higher low is confirmed, we will break this upper resistance within 2 weeks. 75 to 80 is the next target. For context, Bitcoin has been chalking higher lows since August. Yep, a price action trend that signals a potential market structure shift, especially if a higher high is fronted. Now, what is their definition of a higher high? Bitcoin demand has been relatively negative since May, with selling outpacing buying. CryptoQuant noted that the pace of the imbalance has eased. Again, we go through these cycles on a lot of coins. you will see the money flow. You will see money coming in, new money coming into crypto as well. You will see that that starts to fade. It goes through waves. It spikes up, it spikes down, it spikes up, it spikes down. Probably something to do with seasonality more than anything. 150,000 Bitcoin worth 9.4 billion was snagged by investors between late September and mid-October. Rising leverage. I don't think we've got too much leverage at the minute. For the unfamiliar, rising leverage meant speculators taking more risk. Last node, the recent weekend pump flushed some of the short sellers. We know that. Now then, I kind of haven't changed my tact since, I don't know, the last couple of months at least. And the reason is, and I've said this on multiple occasions now, I don't think we are out of the woods. I think there's a couple of things we need to do to get out of the woods. One of them being back above the bull market support band. Now, this is where we're sitting at right now, 64.6. Let's wait for the chart to finish loading. My poor PC. I can't tell you how the demand puts on this laptop. Right then, so you could argue that this is a W-shaped recovery. You could argue that, yes. You could argue that we need to put in a higher high than this, which comes in about 66,000. You could argue that, yes, I'd give you that. You could argue that this is a higher low, maybe, possibly. You could argue that, yes. But the one thing I disagree with is I disagree with this being a higher high. And I've disagreed all along, okay? I think we came down so far to 49,000 that when we came up, we ran out of steam. We basically ran out of steam. Now, what I think we need to break through is that level there, which is 68,000. That's my target. Until we break that target, I don't care what bullish, bearish, sideways mentality people have. That for me is my higher high. I don't see this oracle chap who comes on here and changes everything. So it makes it impossible to actually read anything. Okay, so again, you could argue that they were kind of putting in this. No, I'm not having any of this. I think we're in a good position, but we were also in a good position here. We were heading in a good position here. I don't see it until we break higher. Now that breaking higher comes in two forms. Yes, we do need to get above this level here, which is about 66,000, about 66,000. And then I think we need to get above 68,000. So 66 and 68,000 are my targets. Break the high that we put in at the end of September, then break the high that we put in July, and yes, then we're going on. If we do go up towards the targets that some of these gentlemen are talking about, then for me, it's about 72,000, 71.5, whatever it might be. But if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll notice I've written $74,000. That's the fib up there. That's where I want us to go to. The article says 75 to 80, whatever. I'm going for 74,000. That's my target. That's where I want to see us get to. But we are still in this channel, and until we break 68,000 or we go below 55,000, we're still in this channel. We haven't moved. It's still one of those things. And again, I'm going to be the same whether we're going down or up. If you come on here and tell me that we're being manipulated to 25,000, I'm going to say the same thing. If we break 72,000, I'm going to say the same thing. We need to hold it as support. We need to get to 72, push up, come back down, test it, use it as support and move up. I'm going to say the same thing. If we wick to 49,000 tomorrow, We've got to confirm that we're at that level and not just wick down and come straight back up. We saw what happened with the Middle Eastern conflict. It shocked us down. But what did I say on Friday? There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the market. There's no liquidations. There's no leverage. The market structure is fine. We've just wicked a little bit. I said we needed to get to 62,000. We got to 62,000. We wiggled around at the weekend about 62, 62.4, just in that mid-range. And guess what? We broke out at the end of Sunday. Great. Happy. Doesn't solve the problem of still being in the same range that we've been in since March, does it? We're still here. Break the range, break 68,000, put in a higher high, have a crack at 70,000, maybe get rejected once or twice, then break it, and then we can talk about it. But until then, I am not going to be super bullish or super bearish unless I've had a glass of wine. And being that I've got COVID, that's the last thing on my mind. Right then, moving very quickly on. Remember, if you're new here, hello. Smash the like button and say hello. Just let me check something. Yes. So this little AI camera that we have that follows me around the screen, it works the majority of the time. But occasionally, like when I'm recording a video, it will suddenly have a mind of its own. Cardano is evolving, not failing, says Charles. Now, again, I'm going to read the news as it is. There are people out there that are hating on Cardano. There are people out there hating on XRP. There's people out there hating on Sol. What you got to understand is, whichever level of success, whichever level of direction you go in, you're always going to get hate. There's always going to have people trying to knock you down. It could be the media for the narrative. It can be chains competing with you. It can be other founders. There's loads of reasons to have a pop at everybody. And again, like I said, the blockchain without a fault can cast the first stone because there isn't one. They've all got their own inherent faults and quirks. Cardano just happens to be slow. Not slow in terms of transactions, but slow in terms of development. And Charles has a long-term vision. Whether you agree with him or not is entirely up to you, okay? But it's not a zombie chain, and it's certainly not dead. He clarified that this shift in perception is not... What's shift in perception? And did I miss a paragraph? Or okay, it's evolving, not failing. Okay. This shift in perception is not indicative of any failure on Cardano's part, but rather a result of the ongoing changes brought about by its governance system. Remember, they've now handed over control to the Cardano Council. The recent decline in Twitter sentiment, stating that it reflects the intended outcomes of Voltaire, he pointed out that years of unresolved issues, such as incomplete roadmap items and unfunded growth strategies, have built up due to the governance system's inability to adapt to the ecosystem's needs. I would agree with that. He noted that he is aware of the requirements for Cardano native asset projects like Midnight, specifically regarding custody and liquidity. He emphasized the importance of real governance that prioritizes ADA users, and it's confident the ecosystem now possesses robust governance. Now, again, I'm going to give you a comparison because I think it's important. Cardano is a more academic blockchain. Jupiter, which isn't a blockchain, it's an aggregator. However, they both have councils, they both have DAOs. And the Jupiter Council is dynamic, and it breaks up the budget into 100, 500 constituent parts of funds that they give to people who submit their proposals, and they are given their funds. And it is quick, and it is dynamic, and it is going to end up with 300 failures out of 500, but 200 successes. And the way they look at it is they look at the 200 successes as being a benefit to Jupiter rather than the 300 failures as a waste of money, because the 200 successes will add value to what Jupiter is trying to do. And they're being probably overly ambitious, but it doesn't matter. It's a comparison. Cardano's DAO decision-making process is too slow. It's good, but it's slow. It was great 3 or 4 years ago. Now Web3's moved on. It's too slow. It needs to change direction. They need to have quicker, snappier development roadmaps for smaller projects. And that's where the frustration is coming. And people are losing hope in Cardano. And I get that. But it's so big. It has so many funds and so much funds behind it. It has a development team behind it that really knows what it's doing. I think what Cardano is missing is one piece of the jigsaw or two pieces of the jigsaw. And that is having a kind of a skunk works in Cardano where small projects can come to the Cardano Foundation or go to the council and say, right, we have this idea. It's going to cost $50,000. And the skunk works takes it on board and works with them, and maybe does that with 40 or 50 different projects. You see that work really well on Solana. You see that work really well on the smart chain. It can work. But Cardano, for me, is getting to the point where we need to see real progress. Now, this could be the bull run where I sell out of Cardano and never buy back in. Or I sell out of Cardano, I wait for 2027, we see how it goes, and then I buy back in. But we are only talking about 10, 12 months left of the bull run. So Cardano can last and pump into that bull run. It's there, it's a top 20 coin, it's solid. But long term, 4 to 6 years, they need to start showing real promise. Ethereum Layer 2 network base reaches 6 million transactions in a single day. Again, bullish on base. Wasn't so bullish 6 months ago, but again, new information can change your opinion on things. And seeing the way that it's developing, I did the review of DeepBook on Saturday morning. And DeepBook is a liquidity provider for about 7 dexes over on base. I am way more bullish now than I was 6, 12 months ago. Do I like some of the projects over there? Yeah, I think they've got, is Mog also on base? They've got Brett on base. They've got 7 different dexes. They've got Aero, which is an aggregator. They're building 6 million transactions in a day is pretty impressive. The milestone continues the trend of impressive performances for the base network as it improves scalability and adoption. I think one of the things to understand about base is that it doesn't have its own native token. You can't go and buy base, okay? Now, there's probably several reasons for that. One involves Gary Gensler and the SEC, but there's no native token. So you need to hold tokens on base that you think reflect the value of the base chain. What would those coins be? Well, certainly Aero, number 1. That would be my number 1 pick. And Brett is my 4th meme coin for this bull run. I think those two and Mog, I think those are the ones to look at. But as I said, I reviewed DeepBook on Saturday. Really solid, well thought out project, really well put together. It's like they've taken the graphic elements from Solana and put it together with the technical ability of some of the projects on the smart chain. So you have this really nice looking website with real explanations of how it all works underneath, and it's really, really good. So everything that I've seen so far coming out of base has been really impressive. And again, you can't hold base token, but you can hold projects on base. So base has flipped Arbitrum as well in TVL on DeFi Llama. The data on another aggregator, L2Beat, says something different, but we don't really care about that. The point of the matter is that base is coming up to Arbitrum. That's what we care about. We think about AOP as a measure of latent capital and CVL as a measure of productive capital. We don't really care about that. Base might be taking most of the accolades regarding L2 performance. The general trend among L2 networks has been positive. Again, we've talked about what Arbitrum are doing. We've talked about Optimism is being, the base layer, the base code of Optimism is used for base, but it's used by many other blockchains. So OP has a bullish outlook for me. Base, massively bullish outlook. I think base could be maybe the runner of 2025 in terms of the projects on there, simply because they've done a better job of integration than the likes of other exchanges that I cannot mention the names of. Greetings from the forest, a mushroom picking trip. That is pretty cool. Make sure you don't pick the wrong ones though, Chris. Right then, again, another week, another absolutely ridiculous title. What did I call this over here? XRP rubbish. Yeah, it is. The ETF approval could propel prices to $1,000 amid institutional interest. Okay, we'll have a look at the XRP chart in a minute. But let's go through the logic behind this. Analysts are optimistic about the possible impact, with some suggesting XRP could eventually go as high as $1,000 if an ETF is green-lit. They argue that new investment from such funds could fuel major price rallies, similar to what's been observed with Bitcoin ETFs. Now, just for argument's sake, XRP is 50 cents. To get to $1,000, it would have to 2,000x. 2,000x to get to $1,000. So just put that into the context of the fact that XRP is a top 5 coin. They think it's in a 2,000x. There's speculation that asset managers like Bitwise and Canary Capital could accumulate large quantities for these funds. Fair enough. In the short term, reaching 384 may be a more realistic target. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. There we have it. We have the clickbait up here. Who wrote this? Alexandra Stefanov has gone with a clickbait title of $1,000 and then told you what he really thinks down here, which is 384. My price target for XRP, I think, was $3 to $5 with a $7 great bull run. As in, it's an incredible bull run. That's off the table because the SEC have extended the court case against them. I think we should be looking between $3 and $5. 384 is pretty much in the middle of what I think we'll get to. I don't think we'll get any higher. If Trump comes in, rallies Bitcoin, rallies crypto to all-time highs. Remember, we're going to cover this tomorrow. Exactly 1K XRP. Lol. I'll show you the price in a second to explain why this is nonsense. So, if Trump comes in, all bets are off with regards to the court cases. I think they're all gone. I think they're all going to get shut down on day one. Gary Gensler, he said, and I'm not going to impersonate Trump, he said he will sack Gary Gensler on day one. That's not how it works. The head of the SEC steps down when the president is replaced. So he will probably try and sack him. The conversation will go, you're fired. Gary Gensler will say, well, normally I resign because the president has gone. Trump will say, you're fired. And it will go back and forth like that. Whatever happens, he's gone in February. That could cause the XRP case to be washed away. If that happens in March or April, then we're going to go, hopefully, $3, $4, $5. Okay? There is no scenario. I don't know the name of that character that's in the Marvel comics, the one that can go and see all the infinite numbers of universes, the one played by Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever he's called, right? He can go off and check 1 trillion universes out there, and in not a single one of them will XRP be anywhere near $100 by the end of next year, okay? Let alone 1,000, okay? And the reason is very simple. And I don't even know, the number is that big. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to calculate it in my small, finite mind. That's the problem, okay? So we're going to 2,000x XRP, okay? That's going to make it 6 trillion. Is that 6 trillion? Or is it 60 trillion? I can't even work it out. I think let's go for 6 trillion. Let's, for argument's sake, say 6 trillion. The total market cap of crypto, everything, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything, is 2.25. That ridiculous argument that you've just read for $1,000 would mean that XRP is 3 times the current value of every other crypto combined. That is why you have to look at the market cap of a coin. It is beyond important that you understand this. Why? Because if you buy Shiba Inu and expect it to go to $1, you're going to look at $100 trillion for SHIB. I've already told you that the entire crypto market might not even get to 10, but let's say it gets to 10. You're talking about 100 trillion. So 10 times everything else in crypto is going to be in Shiba Inu. That's why you never look at anything but the market cap. That's what's important. Market cap, circulating supply, maybe then volume, maybe holders, stuff like that. But I focus on the market cap because it's so important, because when stupid people say stupid things, you have to point it out. XRP going to 200 billion is a brilliant price. That would put it at $3.70. 200 billion. It's only at 31. Solana, which I think could go to $600. Now it's not got its ETF. That is, where are we now? That's a 4x from where we are. That puts it at 280 billion. I think that's wholly achievable. Ethereum going to $10,000 because it's got the ETF and everything else and institutional involvement, all that kind of stuff. It could do. But remember, that would put it at 1.2 trillion. So 10, 11, 12, that is absolute max gains, I think, for Ethereum. Bitcoin. If Bitcoin, as some people say, that's going to go to, let's say, $360,000, as some people have said, that's a 6x. That puts it at $7.2 trillion. It's unachievable. Where does the money come from to do that? So we have to look at the market cap and work out where we think things are going to be achievable. Now, it's easy. It's easy to go down here. Anybody can go down here and say, let's pick a coin. Beam signs a deal with Epic Games and Nintendo and PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, signs a big deal to be the backbone of everything they do with gaming. Do I think it could go to $10 billion from 800 million? Yes, of course it can. It's only a $9 billion gain. But taking the likes of Bitcoin to 2.5 trillion requires 100 times the amount of money to come in than to Beam. I know they're different projects, I know they're different sizes, I know that. But you've got to ask yourself, where does the money come from? Would I be happy with $130,000, $140,000 Bitcoin? Absolutely. Would I love $180,000 to $200,000? Of course I would. But we have to see. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge as far as the elections and Trump is concerned. And then don't forget that, if they do go out and buy 1 million Bitcoin, I think we worked it out. I can't remember how much. It was a lot of Bitcoin they were buying a day. A lot of Bitcoin they were buying a day. And remember, if you're new here, say hello, smash the like button. Don't be afraid. We're not going to bite. Year-to-date gains then. Let's have a look at this. Now, obviously, we're only interested in the top probably 200 coins on here, which is good because they're all down here. So this is the gains. So for those of you out there that think we've had a crappy 2024, it's not been great. Bitcoin got to 72,000 and now it's at 64,000. It's not moved for 6 months. This is some of the gains that we've seen. Now, we've talked about PopCat, Mog, Mantra, Dog with Hat, but some other ones, it's been a meme year. If you look at the gainers, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 of the top 6 gainers this year being meme coins, 1 being a real world asset project. You've then got Pendle, decent project. Sui, I'm surprised about. I didn't know it's only up 200% this year. I thought it was up a lot higher. But Sui, again, 6.2 billion. Again, it's had a good year. Potenza's had a good year. I'm not a fan of the project. Toncoin, even though it's had a fantastic year, it's up 128%. ASI 123. So we've seen a lot of real gains. And you want to look down here and say to yourself, how many of these coins do I hold that have literally underperformed the entire year? And then ask a question. Is it because of narrative? Is it because of token unlocks? So Arbitrum is the worst performer there. Why is that? Because Tariq brought it up, was it even in March or April, and we looked at it, and there was a dramatic unlock on Arbitrum. 74% of the circulating supply was unlocked, and it went from $1.20 all the way down to 50 cents, 45 cents, or however far down it got. It's never recovered. So there's a reason for that absolute dip. Polygon at 37 cents is down 60%. It was at $1. What's gone wrong at Polygon? Nothing I can see. Nothing I can see has gone wrong over there. They are switching to the AG layer. They need this new token, this POL token. They need that to come good. That's going to be one for next year. I don't think there's a problem with that. Mina is down. Lido DAI is down. I mean, that's an interesting one. That's down 58% because that is a liquid staking token provider, especially for the likes of Ethereum. So I don't know why that's down so badly. But you can look down here and you can look at really good projects and then you can look at poor projects. Optimism has had a good year in terms of development, but in terms of price action, it's shocking. Audi is down. Quant is never, I don't know what's going wrong with Quant. Filecoin is down. So what you've got down here is you've got a mixture of coins that have had poor performance because of tokenomics, poor performance because of narratives, and then poor performance because they're poor projects. And the question is, when we're seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and everybody moving up, and these coins are going in the opposite direction, the question is, are they going to make a comeback next year? Or should you be moving out of these coins and moving into other coins? And I think the question should be, which ones are fundamentally sound to hold next year and which ones should you jettison? Now, I don't hold many of the coins down here, thankfully, but I do hold POL. I'm not going to sell POL because I think it's a solid project. But so is Arbitrum. So is Optimism. Celestia, if I held Celestia, the honest truth now is I'd sell out of Celestia. That was a token farming exercise to get it to $20, and it worked. But it's a nothingness for me until you start to see the projects that are being built on Celestia start to come to fruition. That's got to happen in the next 6 months. You might as well bin that one off. Bitcoin SV, again, not even on my radar. Other coins down here. Polkadot, not a fan, would sell it, sold it. Don't want to ever talk about Polkadot. Axie Infinity, again, is that a token from the previous bull run? I'd say so. Algorand, incredible technology. It's not moved. I still hold a small bag of Algorand. So rather than look at the gainers and see which ones you should go and buy after they've pumped, look at the ones that have lost and see, are they going to gain? ICP at $8. It's making a lot of revenue. That's always a good sign for me. So I would hold ICP. Cardano, we've just talked about. I'm going to sell it at the end of this bull run, and then I'll decide in 2 years' time. Say, going towards $1. Again, that's a possibility. That's only down 15% this year. Immutable X, solid project. So I would look more at these. Chainlink is down 30%. It's the number one oracle. So is it there because the narrative is with meme coins? Probably. But I think Chainlink will come good. So that's the way I would look at it. I'd be looking at coins which are which haven't come good so far, and I would look at why. And I'd say to myself, is this a good time to get into them? If Ethereum absolutely rips in Q1 next year, then why are you not buying the layer 2s associated with it? Arbitrum, Optimism, and POL. Because if Ethereum rips, Lido will go with it, and so will all the other layer 2s. So that's one possibility. Right then, the last bit of news. It is 11:58. And then we're going to move on, and then we're going to go. Before we go, oh, I have had a question. Sorry, I've not had a question. I've had a poll that I forgot to read out today. Is $70,000 next for Bitcoin? 86% of you have said yes. So we're going to smash 66, smash 68, and go to 70,000. That is a bullish start to the week, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm glad that you have that attitude, because I think it's about time. We've got 2 weeks left of October. We need to put in another run. Now, I'm telling you about this because for me, it's come out of left field. I know nothing about the game. I haven't read this article, but there are people talking about it because it became the #1 game on Epic stores over the weekend, and it's called Off the Grid. Not sponsored, don't know anything about it. It's a battle royale game that plans to integrate crypto features through an Avalanche subnet and has gained popularity online. Streamers are on Twitch with it. It's free to play. The crypto features are yet to launch, but Gunzilla plans to utilize the network to run the game's in-game economy, which also opens up its features to other developers. Again, one thing to understand about the blockchain is it's just a public ledger. It's just a public record of transactions. So if you want to try and cut out fraud, if you want to have something where you can say, right, every transaction that's ever happened is there, then that's what blockchains can do. Sometimes people, I think, overthink what a blockchain is. It's just a big online record of transactions. You know, there was a guy the other day, he said he used to pay for things in Bitcoin. And I think he paid 2,500 Bitcoins for something years and years ago. And every once in a while, he goes back and looks at his transaction, because whatever he bought for 2,500 Bitcoin, it's certainly not worth that today. So it's just, you know, it's a record. Now, this was co-created by Neil Blomkamp, who made one of my favorite films of all time, which is District 9. If you've never seen District 9, it is hilarious. It's got a little bit of humor, quite sad though as well. Elysium isn't a bad film either. The game has been launched. It's got a partnership with Ninja, who we all know is that spiky-haired streamer. Dr. Disrespect featured it as well. And he's not controversial, by the way. All of that news was nonsense. It ranks 32 amongst popularity. The grid economy runs on guns, an Apache subnet designed for the game by its developer Gunzilla. So again, we want to see games come to crypto. We want to see games use crypto, but we want them to do it for the right reasons. Creating a token for a project for the sake of it is just pointless. Create value using what you need. If you need to use the blockchain for your marketplace, if you want to use NFTs for your in-game assets, and it's cost effective and it's transparent to the end user, then do it. But don't do it for the sake of doing it, because that's where so many games fall down. We've seen so many games that are trash because they decided to say, right, we're going to make a blockchain game. Well, shouldn't you make a game that's fun to play and then decide if it needs the blockchain? You know, Star Atlas is a perfect example of that. I did a tweet over the weekend about Star Atlas. I might do a video on that. It's starting to look unbelievably good. Star Atlas is finally starting to look like the game we thought it was going to be 2 or 3 years ago. It really is looking that good. But we're on the cusp of gaming using crypto. But again, I think it's too late for this bull run. I think it will be the next bull run. Anyway, that is enough of me. It is now 12:03. Thank you everybody for watching. Again, we only stream for an hour. We're not going to sit here for 6 hours streaming. Thank you all for coming. Have a great Monday. The Oracle is back in 9 hours. I am going to go back to bed because I am absolutely burning up. I will hopefully be back tomorrow if my throat holds out. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a great Monday.